Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar as part of our Shimadzu Solutions for Pharma series. I'm Brian Demansky, Strategic Collaboration Scientist at Shimadzu Scientific Instruments. I'll act as your moderator today, and we'll hear from Dr. Mridul Mandal about our topic, Method Scouting Solution. Before we start, I wanted to share a couple of notes for our viewers. This webinar console has a variety of items to help enhance your experience and interaction with us. In the screen, you'll see the following items. The slides will appear on the left-hand side. Directly under the slides, you will see a resource list with clickable links relevant to the material being presented today. On the top middle is the widget for questions and answers. Please submit your questions during the presentation through this widget, and we will answer them during the Q&A session. Just below the Q&A box are the moderator and speaker bios. You may expand the items here to learn more about us. On the right are survey questions that you may fill out anytime during or after the presentation. Finally, at the bottom of the pane are the icons to bring up all of these widgets in case they are minimized or hidden. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Again, if you are just joining us, I'm Brian Demansky, your moderator. Today we will be hearing from Dr. Mridul Mandal about Method Scouting System.
Thank you, Brian, for the great introduction. Our webinar for today is Method Scouting System for Accelerating Pharma Analytical, CMC, and Quality Control. Let me give you the outline of my talk today. In the first 3 slides, I will talk about some rudimentary aspects of the method development and the demonstration of method scouting. Then I will move to Shimadzu's method scouting systems and their applications. Just after that, I will show how method migrations can be done with client-server lab solutions software. Then I will talk how we can accelerate your drug development and quality control. Then I will let you know what are the takeaways from the webinar today as a summary. Now I'll talk about method development challenges and method scouting. First, we need to find out the best separation. That should be the shortest time, as time means money. The method also should be the robust, as that can enhance the quality. To make all 3 aspects, we need to figure out which stationary phases are good, which mobile phases would be appropriate for your compound of interest. Finally, we have to make the decision whether or not we got the best results. All these require to do the method scouting. You need to screen mobile phases and columns one by one. Then check chromatograms for the best peaks and resolutions. Then optimize the best gradient conditions. After that, check chromatograms pattern for the peak tailing, fronting, peak weight, peak height, etc. Finally, establish the best analysis condition. Now let me talk about Shimadzu's method scouting systems and their applications. First, I would like to show how method scouting solution looks like on the computer screen. Very intuitive graphical interface that makes it easy in operation. The method scouting system solution software links to lab solutions for integrated user security, data integrity, and data management, including lifecycle management of the data. Batch files, including sample sets and result sets, are automatically created that help improve the workflow. We have 2 kinds of method scouting system. One is modular, another is integrated. Let me talk modular or Nexera method scouting system first. It is our Nexera 40 series. As name reflects that you can change the number of pumps, autosamplers, ovens, column compartments as per the requirement. It is compatible with the system up to 130 MPa. It will give you enough flexibility and selectivity while developing a method, even when you need to change the parameters dramatically. We have another system called integrated or I-series. It is in one box, very useful and helpful to transfer a method to QC as well as routine QC and CMC analysis. It is very space-saving due to its small size. It helps multi-instrumental data reproducibility. It is a very useful system that even you could put in a tiny space of your production facility. Allow me to show you the schematic of method scouting system. For the explanation purpose, let's consider the system has two pumps. Each pump connects with 4 solvent bottles with valves. They are then connected with a mixer prior to the autosampler. Here I am showing 6 columns, but you could add up to 12 columns. Each columns run through a individual valve. Then it goes to the detector. As a detector, you can choose any kind, including MS, MSMS, PDA, UV, FLR, etc. Therefore, it has limitless combination of mobile phases proportion to the gradient selections. It can easily test multiple gradients. It can perform automated processing from system check to scouting to shutdown. To check the superior ability of the method scouting system, we mixed 13 CFM antibiotics and ran through the system. It performed 3 steps automatically to develop a robust method. Step 1, scouting mobile phases and columns and review chromatograms. Step 2, optimize gradient condition. Step 3, verify batch results. Now, if you remember the method scouting system schematic, I've shown you that it had 2 pumps, one for mobile phase A and another for mobile phase B, and each had 4 types of mobile phases. It also had 6 columns. And here other conditions like it ran from B concentration 5% to 90%, and flow rate like 1 ml per minute, injection volume 5 microliter, column temperature 40 degrees Celsius, detection 260 nanometer. By running that, it selected the best column, and then it also selected best mobile phase. Like for A, it was phosphate buffer, for B, acetonitrile, and finally it reviewed the chromatogram. As mentioned earlier, it ran from 5% B to 90% B in multiple gradient conditions and optimized the best one. It was revealed that 5 to 65% B gradient gave the best result. You can see how nicely separated these 13 CFM antibiotics, even though they are very closely structured. This total analysis took for 15 hours, as step 1 took 11.5 hours, step 2 took 3 hours, step 3 took 0.5 hours, which means a method development is possible within a day. When I was working in the lab, I saw many times that a method developed using UHPLC lost the tiny impurity peak due to the high pressure because it pushed too hard. I also saw that a method developed in a HPLC had a tailing or fronting or ugly peak shapes. Now think, if you have a system that can run both UHPLC and conventional HPLC at the same time sequentially. This will give you huge benefit. Here you can see that it has both a UHPLC and conventional mixing valve using a switching system that will give what you require. Then through that it goes to the columns. So if it requires the conventional columns, it goes to the conventional column, and it requires UHPLC column, it goes to the UHPLC column. It has the ability to perform scouting conditions across different platforms. It has the ability to transfer UHPLC analytical methods to QA/QC department using HPLC. So here we are showing a model experiment using mix of antibiotics. You can see the left panel, that's the UHPLC, which took only 5 minutes, and the right side you can see that conventional HPLC that took about 35 minutes. But in both sides you see the peaks are very similar. Now let me give you a little bit rudimentary demonstration about SFC or supercritical fluid chromatography. SFC involves using fluids that are raised above their critical pressure and critical temperature. It is in between gas chromatography and liquid chromatography. Very useful to analyze a compound with very high boiling point. This system here can run both SFC and UHPLC sequentially. From the schematic, you can see pump A is for SFC, pump B is for both SFC and UHPLC for mobile phase B. Pump C is for exclusively UHPLC for mobile phase A delivery. So from then, it goes to the auto-injector, and from the upper panel you can see is the columns for SFC, 6 columns. And then lower panel, you can either put SFC or UHPLC column, whatever you need. Then it goes to the detectors. These systems are robust, powerful, and very useful. In the last slide, I told you the system is very powerful. Now you see the proof. The upper panel is here the result for LC, and the lower panel is the result for SFC. Please look more carefully. I am sure you have noticed that ibuprofen was coming at the last, but which in the lower panel you see it coming at the very beginning. That means the selectivity of the compound elutions could be changed. That means any compound hard to get retained can be analyzed. On another word, if anything is coming out of the gradient can also be retained effectively. So far I talked about a small molecule analysis. You might be thinking whether or not it could analyze large molecules. To show a model experiment, we analyzed N, N-1, and N+1 mer oligonucleotide. More specifically, they are very closely structured 24, 25, and 26 mer oligonucleotide using 15 to 35 millimolar TUA in water. We performed method scouting and we got the best results while using 15 millimolar TUA. The method scouting system is readily applicable for any large molecule analysis, for example, using HIC, hydrophobic interaction chromatography, SEC, size exclusion chromatography, IEX, or any other that require mass spec or HPLC. You could easily perform method scouting for large molecule. Now let me show you how method migrations can be done with our lab solution, client server, or lab solutions CS software. From the schematic, we can see that it has method development department, quality control department, server room, and control department. Method development department is using modular method scouting system, which gives more flexibility and selectivity to develop the method. When the method is already developed, it immediately goes to the quality control department using the server room. So in the quality control department, integrated or I-series method scouting is using as it is routine analysis. But it is very helpful to transfer a method or do the routine analysis. And control department is basically for the IT or analytical admin who will decide how the method transfer can happen from MD or method development to QC or quality control department. Now I want to show you how we can accelerate your drug development and quality control. Now please think you have medicinal chemistry, formulation development, and biologics development department. They are connected to our modular and integrated method scouting system. Modular system will help you to develop the method, and the lab solutions will transport the method to QC and CMC. Integrated system, on the other hand, will help you to do the routine analysis. Lab solutions client server will manage the data and user security, as the entire laboratory can be connected through it. For the entire process, the analyst does not require to be present continuously, as the method and other things are fully automated. That will accelerate the drug development and quality control very effectively. And it will also transfer data from one department to another department when they need it. Many of you may think that Shimadzu is a very strong analytical instrument company like mass specs, UHPLC, spectrometers, gas chromatographs, X-ray, etc. But we also produce and sell different varieties of columns for a small and large molecule analysis, tubes, reagents, laboratory kits, and many other things. Please visit solutionsforpharma.com. You will be amazed by looking the entire method scouting packages and a lot of applications. What are the takeaways from the webinar today? I have shown you method scouting systems that are fully automated. The systems are very fast and cost-effective solutions for QA/QC and CMC. They are completely detector independent. That means you can use whatever detector you want as per your requirement. The beauty of the systems is that they do not require continuous presence of an analyst. That means the resource can be used for different tasks. I have also shown you a method scouting system that can be used for multiple analytical solutions. Now is the time for questions and answers. Should you have any comments and questions after this webinar, please write to my following email address, mkmandal@shimadzu.com. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I am handing over to our moderator, Brian Domanowski.
Let's thank Dr. Mandel for such an exciting presentation. Again, under the resource list, you can find more information about our analytical solutions, including the method scouting workflow you've learned so much about. If you've not had a chance, we do ask that you fill out the survey questions on the right-hand side to provide feedback and request additional information. We encourage you and your colleagues to sign up for the Shimadzu e-newsletter through the opt-in checkbox below. The monthly newsletter includes information regarding upcoming webinars and events encompassing a wide variety of application areas. At this time, we will begin our Q&A session. Thank you to the audience for attending and sending questions. We have time for a few questions, and we'll start with one that's been submitted. It reads, if the analyst has enough experience, he or she can utilize the compound structure to determine which column, mobile phase, and gradient would be the most appropriate. How does the method scouting system benefit an experienced analyst?
That's a great question. In case where an analyst analyzing a single API, it could be as easy as you are saying. But most of the time, impurities, degradants, and excipients make things very complicated and difficult. To achieve good chromatograms and separations, Even an experienced analyst must select one by one columns, instruments, gradients, flow rates, and so on. That would make and take a tremendous amount of time. Now please think, having a system that allows her or him to run multiple columns, mobile phase, as well as gradients, and creates batch flows, creates the report automatically, would be incredibly time and energy saving to develop the method, even in a very complex situation within short amount of time.
Thanks for that answer, Dr. Mandel. The next question we have is, as you had mentioned, the system can perform both SFC and UHPLC separation. What does the user have to do to switch the system between modes?
Just need to do one thing. Prior to starting the experiments, the user needs to select that the system will run both SFC and UHPLC.
Excellent. So there's nothing the user has to do to change the instrument configuration or to physically change any hardware?
No, not really. That's as simple as I said. You need to select that prior to the experiment, you will run both sequentially.
Excellent, excellent. The next question that we have is the method scouting solution software compatible with use in a regulated environment?
Yes. As it is part of the lab solution client servers or lab solution software, method scouting solution software is compatible in a regulated environment. Lab solution is compliant with 21 CFR Part 11 and can be used to run single instruments or all instruments in the lab, including UHPLC, mass spectrometer, gas chromatograph, and other analytical instruments can be connected together and run through the server. That would be beneficial in terms of data integrity, user security, data management, including data lifecycle management.
Let me paraphrase the next question to ask, during the talk you had mentioned that there are multiple detectors available in the method scouting configuration, including mass spectrometry. The gist of the user's question was, is the use of mass spec limited only to single quad mass spec?
This is a very good question. It is not limited to a single quad. Depending on the applications, detectors such as single quad, triple quad, Q-top, etc. can be used.
Thank you for that answer. Is the method scouting system biocompatible and bioinert?
Yes, the method scouting system are both biocompatible and bioinert. For those who are watching on demand, the UHPLC bioinert system will be previewed at AAPS 2021 and ASMS 2021.
Thank you for that answer, Dr. Mandel. We have at least one other live question that has come in, and that's a question regarding the software in order to view the scouting runs. And that one I'll step up and help field. So within the Lab Solutions software, there is the ability to do both sophisticated reporting that can do a calculation of an evaluation score that looks at a summation of resolution across all of the detected peaks within the run, and can give you a graph-style output of what your top 3 to 10 hits were on that particular screening run, as well as allow you to set up reporting so that you can get a single report document in PDF or printed format that shows all of the collected chromatograms.
That's it, Brian. That's a great answer.
Excellent. And we'll certainly take a moment here to allow any other user questions to come in. But I want to thank everyone for their participation as well. And as we reach the end of our time, I certainly would encourage everyone to submit any additional questions through the QA portion of the interface. If we don't have time to answer those here in our live session, we'll certainly respond to you directly. And again, we are reaching the end of our allocated time. So I want to thank everyone for their interesting questions. And again, if we don't have time to answer your question, please feel free to submit it now or at the close of the presentation. If you're viewing this on demand, we will also receive those questions and respond to you individually. So we want to thank you all for attending and participating. We'll send an email link to be able to view a recorded version of this presentation anytime in the future. And we encourage you and your colleagues to attend our upcoming webinars. We'll be sending out an invitation soon for our upcoming event on photodiode array peak deconvolution that will premiere live on November 18th. Or again, check that box to be included in the Shimadzu newsletter in order to receive information about our upcoming events. Thanks again, and have a great day.